You're listening to Turi Writer's She Said What podcast. I'm Turi, along with Marcy Persky. The foster dog thing is not going so well. Neither is the career revival of a certain youthful band. Also, they can pass a law that says you have to tell the truth. But if you've been a really slick operator, who says anyone will believe you? Oh, man.
Are you having a crazy morning?
Well, I am the solo captain of this ship.
I'm your captain. Yeah. Whatever that song
I think
is.
that's an amazing recollection. Do you happen to remember who sang that song? No cheating, no looking it up.
Styx? Was it Styx?
I think it was Grand Funk.
I blame everything on Styx.
Somewhere there's a picture of me with one of the allegedly cuter members of Styx backstage, just sitting around. Yeah, not doing anything.
Okay. Since we're going to start with this little musical thing.
Okay.
I was watching the news this morning.
Yeah.
Good Morning America on ABC. I'll give them a little plug. But their musical guests were the New Kids on the Block.
The New Kids on the Block?
Yeah, or the New Old Men on the Lawn. I don't know. But man, these guys are way too old to be new kids on the block. It was just really weird watching them.
They should just do what everybody else does when your name becomes embarrassing. You reduce it to an acronym. NKOB.
No, just block. But yeah, to see them up there doing the right stuff, and the same dance moves that they did however long ago, and half of them are bald. It was just weird.
If you have a band or a group and you plan to have any longevity, you should consider how your name may age. If you're around for more than 10 years, like what will that look like? Future artists will now have to consider this. Kind of like when you give your kid a name and you have to think about what all the kids in school are going to do to that name, which is why I wasn't allowed to name my youngest Asher, because my spousal unit said, well, they'll just call him asshole is what they'll call him. So I wasn't allowed.
Oh, Asher's a good name. It's dignified.
I like it very much, and it would have been perfect. But no, because the spousal unit said if he plays basketball, they'll just go, hey, asshole.
No.
Anyway, the New Kids on the Block.
I disagree. It's a little late, but I disagree.
So the point about the New Kids on the Block is that you need to consider. You need to consider what your name will do in 20 or 30 years. And now here's the other part of that. The flip side is that other people may recover their youth either by thinking of the New Kids on the Block as actually new kids and feeling very young in comparison, just the way they did when the New Kids were, 14 and they were 8. Or people who are sinking into dementia, as we are, apparently, will just have forgotten altogether who these kids were 40 years ago. They go, oh, look at that, New Kids on the Block. So they've made everybody happy except us because we're picky.
Well, see, I think they should change their name to Old Men in Lawn Chairs. And then we'd still have Boys to Men, which should be Men to the Grave, I guess, because they're pretty old. Spice Girls are no longer girls by any means.
I don't know about that. I mean,
you think they're girls?
Boys to Men.
They're moms.
Boys to Men is transitional, and there's nothing more popular these days than going through transition.
But they've already transitioned.
Right, but
many years ago.
Okay, so you want to change it maybe to Men Who Were Boys.
That could be. Yeah, that could work. And then what do you do with Spice Girls? Not so spicy girls?
That would be more accurate. Oatmeal girls. Whatever they eat for whatever they eat for their digestion. Probiotic girls would be more accurate at this point.
I don't know. I kind of like grits girls.
I like that too. I like that.
Okay, now that we've solved that problem.
We have solved that problem. Now could you come over here and train this foster dog?
Sure. I've done such a great job with mine. What's she doing now?
She's doing better. I finally instead of just correcting her on the leash, I brought a Ziploc bag full of salmon training treats so I can get her attention now because I'm not good at this is the problem. When you train anything from a kid to a spouse to a dog, you start to realize that you alone are not enough to get them to pay good attention. There has to be some other motive there. I'm standing in front of the TV set where the game is on. To watch your game, you have to pay attention to me first and then I'll move. Or with kids, if you want X, you have to listen to mom. It's all transactional.
Well, that's not working with our little bulldog. You tell her to go in her bed. She goes in her bed. You give her a treat and then she leaves. And now she looks like this balloon with little tiny legs from giving her so many treats for doing what she's supposed to do, but she still just stares at you when you call her name until she sees the treat. The dog is always going to do whatever she wants. And I'm just going to feel bad because I know that she had a really bad life before she came to us.
But I'll bet the dogs are all inside because you said it's been very stormy.
Yeah, today is nice. I hate to say it because I'll jinx it. But yes, it's been very stormy here, and it's not even the monsoon season.
It took down your tower, which delayed our recording some.
Yes, it did. And they're supposed to be putting up new towers so that we can even get a faster internet speed.
Ooh.
But I think that they're too busy trying to fix the old ones to think about new ones.
They're probably just hanging on. I've always wondered about like people on sailboats and people on towers and that safety thing, the harness that they wear. And,
yeah.
And I wonder sometimes how they test those things. Like, do they test them with actual people falling off actual towers in a high wind? I mean, all these safety things. Has anybody ever actually tried to stay afloat with an airplane pillow?
I'm sure there has been, but speaking about the harnesses.
Yeah.
Being married to many, many, many years to a carpenter
yes.
who goes up on roofs.
Yes.
And expects things like that. I worry about that all the time. I'm glad that he's not on roofs anymore.
Does he wear a harness or did he wear a harness?
He would wear a harness when he was on a government job and they would come and say, you have to have a hard hat and a harness.
What is it?
And I'll probably get in trouble for saying that, but no. He doesn't wear a helmet when he rides his motorcycle.
Ugh. I don't want to think about
it. Unless I'm right there.
I have way too visual a memory. I don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about it.
No, the harnesses, apparently, they do work. I mean, I watch like a lot of reality fire and police shows, and I've seen firemen hanging from them from the ladder way at the top of a building.
Oh.
And if they take a misstep, they're floating around with the harness.
Okay, well, I feel better now because I always thought, is that like security or security theater? I've never understood.
No, it's secure. They're pretty secure.
I don't like to think about any kind of accident. I like to think about it less and less the older I get because after a while, life is just an extended contemplation on how you could lose every one of your teeth or worse. At the end of the day, I'm going to end up in the hamster ball. You know, the plastic ball you'd put the hamster in so that it could run around the living room.
Do you remember John Travolta? The John Travolta Bubble Boy movie?
Oh, vaguely. I don't know if I even ever... Here's the other thing. These dogs are so exhausting that at the end of the day, when I would normally do work, all I can do is sit in front of the TV and watch bad movies. And I refuse, because I was a longtime ticket splitter with Netflix with the kids. And when they told me I couldn't share my password with the kids anymore, I said, screw you, Netflix. So now all I've got are the free services. And so I've gone through all the good movies, and now I'm stuck with the bad movies. And I'm so exhausted.
You can watch Judge Judy on Freevee.
I'm so exhausted that I can't even make myself like hit the clicker because I'm afraid if I move, the dogs will start fighting again. So I'm done. I just cannot. And yet.
You know what I found out yesterday?
Yeah.
I found out yesterday we have been customers to Dish Network. Let me repeat that once again. We have been Dish Network customers for at least 20 years.
And?
A long, long time.
Okay.
And yesterday, I was just like messing around, as someone does when they I have nothing to do and I'm playing on my phone. And I said, well, I wonder, what exactly am I paying for? And I look and they have a 55 plus discount that they've had for many years, which is half of what I've been paying every month. And I'm way past 55, and I'm really pissed that nobody bothered to tell us.
Oh, no.
Even when they've come to change out old equipment.
No.
They don't tell you that.
No, it's secret. There are all kinds of secrets. So many secrets. And that's why you see those stupid pop-up ads. Hey, this is the secret. And then, of course, you think, well, maybe this is the secret. But it turns out they just want you to buy more stuff. Yeah.
I'm so mad. I think that they owe me half of what I've paid for every year since I've been 55.
Well, here's the problem. Every time they're required to advertise that they have a service, they fight it. They're fighting now in our nation's capital against having to tell you what your ticket will really cost when you get on an airplane. And so they are now possibly going to be required to say, well, the ticket's $265, but actually after the taxes and the baggage fee and the this and the that, it's going to be $325. Do you know what their excuse is for not wanting to tell you what it costs?
People won't fly as much.
Well, there's one possibility, but of course their response, their theory is that telling people what something really would cost would confuse us.
Oh, we're stupid. That's their excuse.
Oh, worse than that. It's that now their credibility is so destroyed that even if they tell us what it costs, we don't believe them. We'll be like, okay, no, really, what does it cost? No, really, the law says it costs $325. No, really, what does it cost, you lying sack? No, by law, we have to tell you, so it's now $325. So either they've decided they're stupid or their reputation is so bad. It's like if you've ever had the really bad boyfriend who isn't where he says he is, or girlfriend, or them friend, that even if they actually told you, it would be too late because no matter what they say, you don't believe them anymore. Sort of like the people who listen to this podcast. No matter what we say, nobody's going to believe us anymore. So there it is.
Well, when my husband calls me out for exaggerating on the podcast, I have to remind him that it's entertainment. It's like watching wrestling on TV. It's sports entertainment.
That's right.
We are talk entertainment.
I've just thrown you to the mat, and it hurts a lot. Thanks for listening to the Turi Writers She Said What podcast. Since you've made it to the end, you might want to know that my book, She Said What? A Life on the Air, is not only available in print, but now also in complete audiobook form, narrated by me and available on Audible.